'cause you're powerful when your name is called.
Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to Reclaiming My Life. I am super excited today to be joined by domestic violence survivor, philanthropist, and artist, Miss Kiki Lauderdale.
Oh,
Welcome,
hello.
beautiful.
Thank you, beautiful lady. Thank you so much. You are such a queen, Claudia Macy. I am so thrilled to be here, honestly. This
Oh,
is a
thank
blessing.
you. Thank you so much.
Yes,
It's an
ma'am.
honor to have you here.
Thank you.
Look, and from your story, baby, we just need to be running up and down the studio, baby, praising God that you are here.
God is the only reason.
Yes, yes. Look, Kiki has an amazing story, testimony. She has an amazing testimony. Did y'all hear me say domestic violence survivor? Talk to
Yes.
us, Kiki, from a child.
Yes. I always tell people what we experience as a child, it goes with us. And literally, me being a witness to my mother, her domestic violence situation in her first marriage was pretty bad. And I was a witness to that. So, if people don't know this, children that witness that, they go through abuse and trauma the same as though it's them getting beat, even though it's the parent getting beat, because they're traumatized. They can't help their parent. They're helpless. 9 out of 10 times, it just sends their mind into a state of shock like it did me. But it was so much to see and take in, especially when blood and, violence are, it's really terrible. So with that being said, the abuse happened in that situation. She got out of it, got into another situation. And with that situation, I became the target of child abuse.
Wow.
Yeah, at the age of 5. And, that was something very traumatic. It locks your mind in. Fear is not just a state. Fear, it's a way of living. When you learn to live in fear, you're locked in. When they say whatever goes on in this house stays in this house. So I'm so thankful with what God is doing in me today because, from broken bones to, being stomped, starved out, when I say starved, I mean throwing up your own bile from just being starved out for
Oh my God.
days and hours upon hours, because my mother worked, so she wasn't in the household and she worked a very good job. So 15, 16 hours a day. And then she leaves us there with the chastiser or the abuser.
Wow.
And so me and my little brother, we weren't his children. He came into the relationship with us, with my mother. And it was very, well, it was a lot to witness, a lot to go through, a lot to see. You wound up living inside of yourself. You don't know what to do. Who do you tell? Because everyone appears to think this person is nice, right? So if you do say anything, then you're the liar. You can't be believed, you can't be trusted, and you go back into the same harm's way that you're trying to get out of.
Yes.
So sometimes telling can make it worse,
Wow.
because now you told and you don't tell what goes on inside of this house. So now they're really going to teach you a lesson. So that further pushes the child back from wanting to speak out about it.
Wow.
You know,
So you were a child, 5 years old.
5 years
Were
old.
you in school?
Yes, I was in school. Now, I missed a lot of school too because, like, on days when it was, some bruise or, something didn't quite heal, then, I'm not going to school, in that time. And because, like I said, we weren't his kids, he didn't really care. I'm going to put it this way. He made sure that we walked. He didn't want my mother to get any type of, like assistance from anyone because if you get assistance, then people are in your business.
Right.
So, oh, they can walk to school. They don't need the bus. Oh, you don't have to give them free lunch. I'll make them lunch. And she entrusted that because she wasn't there. She was at work. So, with that being said, after this failed relationship that she had, she was willing to make this one work at all cost. And we were the cost.
Wow.
Yes.
My God. My God. So let me ask you, how long did the relationship last? How long was he in your life? Through high school. How long did it last?
Oh yeah, definitely. They didn't break up until well after I had left home, and my abuse lasted like 12 and a half years. I left when I was like 17, like 3 days shy of my 17th birthday, and became homeless because I felt like being homeless was a lot safer than what was happening to me because each year as I grew, the abuse grew. It went from just a light, somewhat, I want to say light, pressing because I'm 5 years old. And yeah, I felt that as a 5 year old, but not as intense as I did when I was in high school. The pressure was stronger with him taking his foot and stepping on my throat. And I'm squirming, trying to get my life, trying to breathe, or pinning me up against the wall and punching me in the face, like literally fist punching me in the face, running me like a linebacker, like flipping me completely into my stomach and flipping me over to my back. Somebody
Wow.
can run and hit you with their head into the stomach, knock you completely off your feet onto your back, and then
Jesus.
step over you. It's a lot for a kid.
Mm. Listening to your story, and thinking about your mother, our parents are supposed to protect us. They're supposed to love us. They're supposed to see when we're hurting, and it's heartbreaking to know that you didn't have that in the home. You didn't have, your mom to say, this is my baby. This is who I carried. This is who I birthed. This is who I love. But she allowed you as a child to be tortured.
She was in love, and by this time, him leaving, I don't, I think she was in the failed relationships before. Excuse me. And
You're okay. You're okay. I understand. But, I'm going to say this. This also goes, to show, and it's important to recognize this, that sometimes, parents aren't well. They aren't well.
it's
And
true.
when we aren't well mentally, we allow these things to happen. We don't know. I don't know your mother's why. I don't know what happened in her life to cause her to have such low self esteem and to allow such trauma to her children. We don't know her why, but there is a why, something that's deeply rooted that happened with her. But I heard you say, she came from love.
She did. She came from love, and I think what it was with her getting pregnant with me so young, you know, um, in that time, I believe that if they weren't married or the child was born out of wedlock, they were considered a bastard, whatever, what have you. And that can make the family look a certain type of way. And so, with that on her back, of course, now, okay, I got not one, but I got this second child now, and that didn't work out. So, let me make this work.
Mm-hmm.
Even with a marriage that she tried after my brother and my dad, myself and my brother's dad, that didn't work out. So she tried the marriage, and he was abusive to her, and I witnessed that. And so, with that being said, okay, that didn't work out. Now, this next guy that comes along, I'm gonna make this work regardless. And I get it, but I don't get it because
And it's not for you to
it's
get.
not for me to
It's
get.
not for you to get. It's not for
Absolutely.
you to try to figure out why she did the things that she did. But it did lead you into a relationship of your own
Hmm.
where you experienced domestic violence.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
what did that look like? Did you see any red flags going into the relationship?
I did, and as your family, you watch them, you watch the women in your family, and you start to mimic some
Mm-hmm.
things that they do, like, okay, well, she put up with this or that, and you start to minimize what's not so bad. If it's bad, it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can minimize, well, it didn't bleed, or it didn't hurt, or he said it was sorry. So you get to minimize,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I don't want to be like she was,
Mm-hmm.
but she stuck around when her eye was this big or that big. Well, mine wasn't like that. You know what I
Right,
mean? So you
right.
get to
Comparing
minimize.
these
Yeah,
two,
you're
yes.
comparing it. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and I guess it's not normal, but it is normal because it's what you witness, is what
Yes.
you
Learned
grew up, you learned
behavior.
behavior.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with that being said, my mentality is different. In my mind, I'm like, I watched her go through so much, and I had experienced so much as a child with the abuse, my thing was, if if it happens again, I'm fighting back. You
Come
know what
on
I
now.
mean? So if you touch me one more time in the wrong way, so before I need to go to jail, we don't need to do this longer,
Right,
right? Or before you go to jail behind me, we don't need to do this any longer. And so I think that's for me,
Yes.
even with the letting go, it's freeing to my mind because now I don't have to worry about, you hitting me or it getting worse. We're becoming enemies when, we don't have to do that. So,
You know what? Um, the saying, you don't look like what you've been through.
yeah.
That's Kiki Lauderdale.
Thank you, God.
That's Kiki Lauderdale.
Hey,
And
God is
look,
good.
Kiki Lauderdale has a book, y'all. You Can't Hear Hummingbirds. You Can't Hear Hummingbirds. And before she briefly touch on this book, y'all, she's also an amazing artist. Her artwork is in galleries, y'all. She's an amazing artist and author. You Can't Hear Hummingbirds. What inspired the book?
Well, the abuse. Hummingbirds, I really love hummingbirds, and it's sad to say, like you said, learned behavior. I remembered how my bruises looked and the stages that it went through when I had all these bruises. So I became good at FX makeup now. But being able to draw bruises, just like the cover of the book, being able to draw a lot of things from either memory or things that I went through or experienced. The hummingbirds, the colors of, they're so attractive. Bruises go through all these phases of colors. Hummingbirds are dead by the maybe fifth year. If they live past 5 years, is very rare. I kind of mimic the two with children that are in childhood abuse homes. They're dead by the age of 5. If it started from birth to 5,
Yes.
I think I survived mine because mine started at 5. So I relate that because of the life expectancy, the short span of a hummingbird is 5 years.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
colors, the beautiful colors, and the colors of bruises.
I love it. She's an artist, y'all. Of course, she's an artist. Look, so Kiki, how can they get your book? How can they connect with you? I know we have a lot of women and men, who are in domestic violent relationships. Your story is truly resonating with them. Unfortunately, you have some who are still struggling in silence, but they might just want to reach out, and send you a
Sure.
message for some encouragement. So how can they connect with you?
Sure. www.youcanthearhummingbirds.com. That's you can't hear hummingbirds.com, or Kiki Lauderdale, KikiLauderdale, both on Facebook and Instagram. Also, You Can't Hear Hummingbird is in an audiobook format on 4 platforms. So if you get on my Instagram, you'll see all of that on there, which ways to listen to the audiobook as well.
Kiki, thank you so much. This was so needed and so necessary. And I'm just so grateful that you, Kiki, have reclaimed your life. And I pray that those of you who are suffering in silence, that you find the strength to try and reclaim your life. Look, y'all don't go nowhere. We're coming back with more of Reclaiming My Life.
God bless.
All right. Look, we are back, y'all. Let me tell you, with the beautiful actress and executive producer, casting director, y'all. I mean, she got a whole list, y'all. Miss Marleen Proctor. So excited to have this beautiful woman here today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here.
Oh, well, look, I'm honored to have you here, y'all. Look, a whole list, y'all. You talking about the 6888. You talking about Zatima. Look, she got a whole list of things, y'all. Series. You on a series? What's the series?
BMF. I've been on Color Purple, the new movie Color Purple. Also, I'm known for the lady that stole her daughter's inheritance money. It's not my true story, but it is somebody's true story, y'all. Then the series I'm on, The Last Words, I play a district attorney, a dirty district attorney, Laura Collins.
Why she's batting her eyelashes.
Yes, District Attorney, and I just got just got a web series role too. I'll be playing Jazabelle, taking over the north side of Atlanta, and then I had the web series also that I played the cartel boss.
Wow.
So, I wasn't about that life in real life, but I'll play it all day on TV.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Look at you now. But you had to go through some stuff, and one being you were age 15 pregnant and unfortunately lost your baby, and I'm so sorry for that because, hey, we get better, but we don't heal from things like that. We don't heal. It's a loss. And I understand because my family, we experienced that. We experienced it. And it hurts.
It hurts.
It hurts.
It hurts.
It hurts.
My daddy had just died a couple years before, so I was just really looking for love, And I was 6 months pregnant when they had did I had went to the hospital because I wasn't feeling good, and they had they had thought because they seen an extra sac, they thought I was pregnant, and the other twin didn't develop, but they sent me to Rockford, Illinois, which was an amazing team. The doctors, the nurses, everybody was so amazing. For me to be 15 years old and my mother, that did get sober for them months to make sure that her daughter was okay. But they thought he was going to die within 3 or 4 weeks, which he stayed alive in my stomach until full term. I had 3 choices: to go to Wichita, Kansas. I think it was to abort the baby. I was 6, 7 months at the time, and that was not an option for me. 2 was to go to California. They would pay for all the medical expenses, but they wouldn't pay for the trip. Which 3 was let God take his course, which they took me and they showed me what the possibilities could be if I did try to keep my baby alive. It would have been a lot, because he was born where his little PP, the skin didn't undevelop from his PP, where he uses the bathroom. So he was actually using it inside of himself.
Yeah.
So they even had to drain the fluid before, and I gave birth, like a natural birth with him. They had to drain the fluid first for me to deliver.
Yeah. I'm trying not to cry with Marleen because I truly understand that my daughter experienced it, and I'm gonna tell you, it was very traumatic. She was 5 or 6 months, and they had to take the baby, so I understand. And
That was the worst feeling, to leave the hospital without my baby. Because I went to give birth to a baby, and I had to
Yes.
leave the hospital without my baby.
Yes.
So rolling out, that was the worst thing ever.
Wow, and you experienced a lot of loss during that time. Not
did.
just your baby,
Nope.
both fathers. Your stepdad, your biological father, your uncle.
To come to find out, bless the dead, and they're probably rolling over in the grave right now, but he ended up not being my biological. I just found my biological father.
Well, look at us on here, y'all, on reclaiming my life. Oh.
So I just found out about my biological 5 years ago, y'all, okay? But he did pass away as well, so I didn't get to meet him personally. He had passed away 3 or 4 years when I found him a year before my husband passed away.
Okay.
My husband, that we wasn't legally married, but we was together 10 years. He passed away. It was 4 years in February. And that we wasn't legally married, his family came and did whatever. I'm not even in the obituary. I wasn't able to plan. I wasn't able to be there for him.
Can we get some tissue, please? You know what? And this.
But I have to say, I hit rock bottom. I was about to give up. I was about to go to the grave with him. I was in the shower, I remember. And then I just remember waking up to an availability check for P-Valley.
Come on.
And I went to a set that day. And guess what? I'm here right now with you.
Yes.
And that was 3 years ago.
Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, said the Lord. Woo! Yes. Yes. You've been through a lot. You've been through a lot, but you have reclaimed your life. You are a successful, beautiful woman today. I'm truly proud of you. Look, y'all, color purple. Look.
Yes.
Why the tears are flowing. Let's talk about color purple. Thank you.
It was
Yes.
amazing. I worked in the same room with Taraji P. Henson and Fantasia for 16 hours, but I'm a deduct 1 hour for Taraji because she was like, okay, y'all, I ain't, this is it. I'm tired. And she put on her little shoes and she went on home. But it's so funny because as she was doing that, and this was the very beginning, right? So I had no idea. It was a few couple things that I did. I had no idea, but this part I really did. And she was singing the song that we had to hear about 50 times. That one scene took 16 hours.
Wow. Wow.
But that song, and then at the end of the song, she would be like, "Okay, and I'm ready for a drink now." And I was like, "Yeah, and I'm ready for mine too."
Uh-huh.
And they said cut, and then we did it again. And she said it again. I said, "Yeah, I'm ready for mine too." They said cut. I said, "Oh, them your lines." And she looked at me like, "Yeah, me, you say one more time."
Look, and I can see her saying it too, right?
She just gave me that look. She gave me that sister look like,
Right.
and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
and that was cool. That was a cool
Wow.
moment for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
But look, let's take a look at you in the color purple.
You've been on my mind, oh sister. We're two of a kind, so sister. I'm keeping my eyes on you. I bet you think I don't know nothing but singing the blues, oh sister. Have I got news for you? I'm something. I hope you think that you're something too. Oh, Scofflin', I've been up that lonesome road, and I've seen a lot of suns go down. Oh, but trust me, no low life's gonna run me around. So let me tell you something, sister. Remember your name, oh, Twister. Gonna steal your stuff away, my sister. We sure ain't got a whole lot of time.
Turn it around, fellas.
So shake your shimmy, sister. 'Cause honey, the sugar is feeling fine. Oh yeah. Hello? Who?
Miss Seeley, you got a call.
Who is it?
Don't know, but sounds urgent.
Evening, this is Celie.
All right, y'all, look, that's the amazing Marleen Proctor, y'all, in the color purple. You can't tell this woman right here nothing. I mean, nothing. Look, and I must say now, you also been on Zatima.
Yeah.
That's my show. That's my show.
It's so funny because I didn't even know I made the cut, right? I told y'all, like, I tell everybody, I got to tell the world now. It was 4 of us that had the same color as Zatima on. And Tyler came from the back. This is my first, I was just beginning. My first time, I've been on set, but, y'all know Tyler Perry said, y'all know what I'm talking about. So it's my first time in that room. And he came around that corner. He's like, y'all got to get out of here with the same color as Zatima. I just stood there like, not me. Not me. And I made it. And it was the coolest thing. Wow. It was the coolest. And then I didn't even know I made the cut. Because I did have the color and I didn't move, right? Then my son called, or he posted it. Then he called me. He said, my mama on my doggone screen. What's my mama doing up there on my show? That's my mama. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And look, and not only that, y'all, let me tell you, 688.
That's dear to my heart. I'm a military brat.
Okay.
Both of the fathers, the Proctor, I got the name. He was in the Marines, and the man that raised me, he was in the military for 30 years. Did 3 tours in Nam.
Wow.
So, and not only that, but 688 at the end when you read the credits, some of the women were named. Fort Lee, Virginia, is now named after them women. And my dad, we were stationed 6 years of my childhood life in Fort Lee, Virginia.
Wow. Look, right down the road from me. Because, Richmond, Virginia is
You
my
see?
home.
Yep. So
And my husband, also retired military Army. He was stationed at Fort Lee for several years, served 29 years.
wow.
Yes.
So
Yes,
we
ma'am.
probably know each other somewhere in there,
Yes.
traveling all over. But it was just phenomenal. I wasn't even booked to do that particular scene. I was booked to do like a couple scenes. But we had a rehearsal that Friday, and Miss Debbie Allen herself came, and we had to do the rehearsal. We had to do the bout face, y'all. And, we had to do the march and all of that. And she went through, because casting had already picked their core, their 40 core. But Debbie came and picked the 40 core she wanted.
Okay.
And I was one of them. She's like, we didn't know what was happening at the time. But out of 250 other women, I made them cuts.
You made it, baby. You
made
made it.
It's
Look.
nothing but God.
Nothing but God. Look, and that attitude, baby.
Oh, you see the look?
I love it.
Well,
I love
homeboy
it.
said, and you looking too. That's
Yes.
what they love, that look.
Yes.
Because not only that, and what I say about being in the military, but I'm also biracial. My mother is white. My
Wow.
father is black.
Yes.
So I dealt with a lot of that. I was a mixed girl, biracial girl. I told you, going to different schools in different cities, them girls did not like me. I was very popular by the boys, okay? But the girls, it was always...
And still are. I love her, y'all. I love her.
Yeah, and it was always one girl, and I have to say, I got to speak the truth. It was always one black girl in each city, each state, that would take up for me and say, y'all not messing with her. She's not even doing nothing to y'all. Y'all not, I can't cuss on here, y'all. We in church right now, too, but I'm working on my verbiage. But I did, and I got 2 here now, which one just came and adopted me out of nowhere. That's Michelle Lovett.
Yes.
I love it. She gave me Actress of the Year. So I did
Awesome.
win Actress of the
Awesome.
Year with her.
Congratulations.
And she made me a bossetta.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Yes.
Michelle Lovett, I'll just say phenomenal.
Yes. Look, she's a blessed woman. And again, truly honored to have you here. Look, y'all, follow her. Let me ask you this, some closing words, real quick, if you can give us some closing words for anyone who's looking to pursue acting in about 30 seconds, and let them know how they can connect with you.
Okay, all right. So acting is not as easy as it looks on TV. It's not for the weak. You definitely, somebody was on here. I've seen one of the shows From the Gutter to
Grace.
To Grace,
Yes.
baby. And that's what it takes. And I believe that's what the industry looks for, too, as well. Because if there's a lot of people, a lot of famous actors that have become very famous from starting off a background. And I'm saying I'm one of them. Okay, but it's not for the weak. You definitely have to... you have to be ready for it. It's a lot of hurry up to get there to wait, okay?
Yes.
It's a lot of different energies, a lot of different people. But you can contact me and figure it all out. Marleen Proctor, the actress, 1. Well, let's say Marleen_Proctor 1. Check mark everywhere, you guys. Marleen Proctor on all platforms right now. Website will be up soon. I am writing I've already wrote part of my book. I've already turned it in. It's being edited right now as we speak.
Wow. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you. A
Yes.
little nervous because it is telling my story. So not that I'm exposing people, but I'm telling my story.
Come on now.
But
Look, we can't say hush mouth, okay? Because you can't hear. Look, if you stay muted, people can't hear you. So it's time to unmute and reclaim your life. Marleen, thank you so much for being here today. You are an amazing woman. I've been blessed by your presence and your energy. I love you so much. And y'all, look, follow her, connect with her. Information is on the screen. Until next week, I love y'all. Stay blessed.